The reason why Black people depend on a lot of like Asian and Indian businesses at large is really because of history and this concept of redlining. And I'll try to dumb it down as quick as I can. Banks used census data and they determined where people lived. When they noticed that there were large groupings of individuals of a particular racial group, they would assign that area a color. So, for example, if there was an area that had predominantly white people, then they would assign that area the color green. If it was mostly black people, or if it were deemed to be a bad neighborhood, then the color would be deemed as red. Okay. Now, I'm not going to sit back here and say that Asian people weren't impacted by redlining. Yeah, they were. But the magnitude is vastly different than black people. And you can even look at the loan approval rates. When you look at the blended loan approval rate for Asian people as compared to white people, they're actually much closer. And when it comes on to black people attempting to get home loans, business loans, etc., I mean, it's in the dirt. It's really bad. So when it comes on to black people's ability to franchise in general, it was destroyed because of redlining. Now 30 years later, when redlining stopped, and that stopped around like 1965, etc., during that time, you have to think about it. There were also large swaths of Asian people migrating to the United States. So this new class of Asian people, right? And I'm talking about, and when I say Asian people, I mean a blended group, right? Japanese, Chinese, Korean, etc., right? They did not have to deal with the impact of redlining at all. They were able to get fresh loans and they were able to ingrain and enroot themselves into black neighborhoods and create and essentially create businesses at large. Now, when it comes on to today and what that means, what it shows you is that I think that this new generation of Asian people don't exactly realize that the people that they've been serving have literally been chained down due to law. And it's one of these things that it's sort of like, I know it's really easy to go back and say, oh, like I came here and I lift myself up by the bootstraps, and I get it. I understand the rhetoric, and this is the way I used to think as well. But when you take a step back and you actually look at the history and you look at like the history of like African Americans, and I say this as someone that has like Jamaican heritage, so this isn't even completely my story, frankly, right? It is very challenging to incorporate in your own neighborhood when you're being actively discriminated against. Like it's so tough. And I think that that level of like disenfranchisement is something that a lot of people don't exactly appreciate it because they don't experience it. And that's what it comes down to. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan all day because I do think that there is an upside. If you're a black person and you have made the decision that, you know what, I am tired of being in the situation in which I'm always doling out money to other groups of people and I'm never actually creating money and creating wealth within my own community, what can I do? What you can do is franchise, because the barriers to entry when it comes onto loans continue to decrease and you can start a business. Now here's a caveat. And this might not be the most fun thing for me to say at all, but when you start a business, you cannot price gouge your own people. I know that might sound crazy, but hear me out. When you start a business, you cannot charge disproportionate prices against your people just because they happen to be the same skin color as you. And this could be a whole separate video, frankly, and a whole separate conversation, but I understand that the cost of running a business is very high. I understand that your cost might actually be much higher than other businesses that are standing because of economies of scale. I get it, right? Like I'm in finance and I've been studying finance for a very long time and I understand it quite deeply. I understand. But the thing is, if you're unable to commensurate that price with a comparable product, you are not going to be able to win the neighborhood. Like people won't be happy or support your business just because you're black. You have to provide literally an option or a product that is so enticing that people feel comfortable or compelled to spend $30, $40 on some salmon and mac and cheese, right? Like, the customer service has to be impeccable. There has to be something else other than we look similar for people to want to support that business. Because if you can't win on price, you have to win on customer service. You have to win on other ways, or other instances in which you can build up equity within your neighborhood or your community. I could spend all day talking about like business acumen and how to build up like morale and interest within your customers. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a change, if you want to see something change in your own community, and just like the Black experience at large, you have to incorporate yourself. You have to franchise yourself. And there's no better time than now, for real.